What's going on, guys? In this video, I'm going to walk you through exactly how I'm making $30K a month online with a Go high level agency, but more importantly, how I'm building a life and a business that I love, that when it gets bigger, I actually enjoy life. Because the worst thing you can do is end up building a business that you absolutely hate, where you're stressed out, working, grinding your butt off 24/7. Okay, this is not the video for you if you're interested in scaling and sacrificing everything in your life in order to get to that magical 100K a month that has no meaning and where you actually profit only 10K a month. Now I'm going to show you how to build a lean, mean agency that provides freedom of time, freedom of stress, freedom of money. All right. So if that interests you, then stick around. I'm going to walk you through exactly how I'm doing it, what I'm doing right now, and we'll go from there. All right, real quick, let's talk about who this is for. If you're someone that loves the idea of being a rainmaker, someone that can make it rain clients and customers for local businesses, then this is for you. If you're a complete beginner, looking to escape the 9-to-5 curse, you want to start an online business, maybe you don't have any clients yet, this is also for you. Maybe you do already have a high-level agency, you have a few clients, but you're stuck, right? You've watched all the YouTube videos, you've seen all the gurus, and you're just constantly going back and forth, and maybe you still only have a couple clients, and you haven't been able to get to that consistent 10K a month profit mark. This is definitely going to be for you. I'm going to show you exactly how to scale, how to get clients, the offer, all that stuff. I'm going to dive into that. More importantly, this is really about building a lifestyle of freedom, right? I'm all about building a life that you love, and you can't separate that. Business and life, they go hand in hand, right? If you're someone that just builds, if you're just only focused on obtaining money, this is definitely not for you, because that is not my core value. I've focused on that in the past, and it's just, you end up burnt out and you build a business that you don't actually love, right? So if you want to build a business that's based on your values and you're someone that wants freedom, like that's what's most important to you. You want freedom of your time so you can do what you want, work when you want, focus on the work you actually love doing, then this is definitely for you, right? And if you want to focus on building a business that has consistent customers and clients coming in through paid ads plus content, I'm going to show you how I'm doing that. Or else you're just focused on, or else you're just doing organic and it's just time consuming, sending hundreds of DMs and all that. That's not how I get clients, right? We focus on referrals and paid ads content ecosystem. I don't have some fancy name for it. Maybe I will one day, but I'm not that cool yet. All right. Yeah. And like I said, if you're unwilling to sacrifice values, family, peace, freedom on the altar of success, then this is definitely for you. That's what I'm all about. Family. I like freedom and I like peace. I don't like building a business that causes a lot of stress. I've done that too. And you care more about the profit, right? Revenue feeds the ego, but profit feeds the family. That's a quote that has stuck with me throughout my entire business career. I think Bedros Keuilian is the first one I heard it from, and it just makes sense. Profit feeds the family, right? And lastly, you actually feel called, like you feel this pull inside, like you have a heart for local business owners. You're not just looking to make a quick buck. You actually feel called to serve business owners in some capacity as a marketer, to help them get more customers, help them grow their businesses. This is definitely for you. All right. So how did I get here? It's been a long journey. I've been doing this for about 5 years as an agency. So I'm just going to show you real quick a little bit of my journey, a little bit of my story of how I got here and what I've done, all the different business models that I've tried, all the reiterations I've gone through. So like most entrepreneurs, I didn't want to work for anybody else. I graduated college in 2010, started this gym, and that was my first entry into business. Started training people for free, getting clients. 6 months in, was able to lease a building, move into this building, and just really start understanding business, which it took me a lot of years. I ran the gym for about 9 years and made a lot of mistakes. But one of the things I'm most proud of is learning how to market, learning how to run paid ads. As you can see, my bald head over here running ads. These ads were responsible for growing my gym. I wasn't in some visible area. I was in a warehouse tucked behind. Nobody knew I existed except for the ads and the referrals, right? So I was dependent upon learning how to market. So one of the things is differentiation. As you can see here, these lovely ladies are all 55 and older. And I quickly learned that differentiation is your superpower. in a market saturated, like most markets are saturated, you got to have something unique, something that sets you apart. And that's what I did. It's what saved my gym. I started a program for 55 and older, and it blew up. It created an amazing community, and I learned a powerful business lesson there about differentiation. So after that, probably around 2018, I bought this guy, Dan Henry's course. You've probably heard of him. And I didn't do anything with the course. I went through it, but I never started the business. I went through it for about a year, dabbled with the idea, thought about it, but I had so many limiting beliefs holding me back. I mean, could I do this? I don't know. I don't know if this is for me, but something inside of me kept stirring like, man, this whole marketing world like seems so amazing. I've always wanted that freedom, and an online business is something I've always wanted to start because of the freedom. You can travel anywhere, work anywhere, right? Selling the dream. I definitely wanted that lifestyle. One, because I was growing a family, recently married, and wanted to have that freedom so I can be present with my wife and my children. So fast forward a year, 2019, I'm still thinking about this whole online agency thing. And I was just in this cycle of being stuck. Like I didn't know where to start. I was so afraid, didn't know how to do it. But one thing that really stuck out to me is the principle of finding a mentor, right? Like Tony Robbins says, model success. Model success. Find someone that's been there. Find someone that has exactly what you want, and go and mentor with them. Go and pay them. And that's what I've always done. That's how I started my gym. I found someone who's done it, and I signed up with them to get coached and mentored. That's really the fast track to success, is to find someone that's done it, someone that you resonate with, and coach with them. And I found this dude, Mike Barron. Actually, one of his students cold called me and was pitching me on marketing services. And I'm like, oh, interesting. Who's your mentor? And they talked about this guy, Mike Barron. I went and looked him up, and sure enough, at that time, he had an agency that was serving personal trainers. And then he helped other people like me that wanted to start an agency. So I made the biggest investment of my life, got me a 0% interest credit card, which I normally do when I'm making big investments and I don't have the cash. Might as well get some free money. So 10 G's, I believe it was. Huge investment. Absolutely nervous, but I knew there was something about this guy that had what I wanted. And sure enough, it was the best investment of my life up until that point. I was able to really work with him one-on-one, which was the beautiful part about it. And that's the strength of having a coach, someone that can work with you and just listen to you and give you feedback like real time. And that's like with Dan Henry, it was just a course, right? There was no interaction. There was no communication. There was no mentoring or coaching. And like most people that just go through a course, you don't get any results, right? So that's the power of having a coach. Well, I met with him consistently. He helped me work through my limiting beliefs about getting started, which I had a ton. Even though I was a successful gym owner, I wasn't making millions. I was doing maybe 20K a month, but I still had these limiting beliefs, this fraud syndrome. Like, who am I to go and try and help other business owners with their marketing, even though I had skills in running paid ads, even though I had a decently successful business, I still had all this fraud syndrome, right? And oftentimes you need someone to help give you perspective. And that's what Mike did. I remember the first time I signed up my first client was a gym owner in Minnesota and paid me $1,000 a month. Like I was absolutely ecstatic, and it just did so much for my morale and my momentum. And that's huge when you're first getting started. Like the wins and the losses are amplified times 100, right? If you don't get momentum early on, you start to have all those doubts creep back in, and you start doubting if this is going to work, if this is the right business model. And then you jump to a different business model and you watch other YouTube videos and you just get caught up in analysis paralysis, right? So coaching is huge. Fast forward a few months later, I sold my gym, right? Because we wanted to move to Austin. I didn't want to run the business from afar. Started the agency, purely focusing on gym owners, right? Because that was my area of expertise. I enjoyed marketing, and I had a gym, right? So perfect storm there. And sure enough, it blew up to about 10K a month. Blew up. For me, that was blowing up. All right. Okay. For me, 10K a month was huge. And, everyone out there is chasing, 100K months, which is fine. I'm going after increase as well. But sometimes it's good to just realize, dude, what's the actual amount that you need to make every month that's going to change your life right now? 10K a month was it for me in profit, right? After taxes. So we were getting results for these clients. It was super fun. It was super exciting in the beginning. So around April 2019, through God's grace alone, we were able to sell the gym, buy this brand new house in Austin, Texas, and get plugged into a church community that we absolutely love with a bunch of friends. And life just got better. I show you this because it's all thanks to this agency business model, right? At that time, it was saturated. Now everyone thinks it's saturated, but the reality is there's so many business owners out there that need marketing help, whether it's through software and services. They need it, and it's not going anywhere. And I also want to encourage you, like, your dream life is a lot closer to you than you realize. Making $10K a month can radically transform your life. At least I know it did for me and my family. So late 2019, I came to an end in my coaching relationship with Mike. I felt that I got what I was going to get out of that relationship. I think we worked together for almost a year. And then there was a 3-month gap where I was on my own, right? And I was making $10K a month, but I was doing everything myself. And I got started in this business to build a life of freedom. And I didn't have that much time freedom. And I was doing a lot of the busy work. So I really wanted to learn how to build a team, where to hire, all of that stuff that can really supply a life of freedom. And I also wanted to learn how to do paid ads nationally, right? Up until this point, I was just getting my clients through organic, word of mouth, and DMing people. I actually have another video on that. Organic stuff works great up until a point, but I wanted that consistency. I wanted that cheat code that paid ads can give you, right? You can reach thousands of people. I've known how to run ads locally, but I've never done it to get agency clients for myself. And I think if you're an agency that runs paid ads, you should be in congruence with what you preach. You should practice what you preach, and you should run ads for yourself to prove that it works. So I got on board with these guys. You may know them. At that time, it was called Seven Figure Agency. It's now called Agency Lab, right? I worked with them for about a year as well and learned how to do paid ads. And once again, getting coaches that have been there, finding people that have done exactly what you want to do. And these guys cracked paid ads. They had a good training on it, and they had good coaching where you can hop on with them and just get that mentorship, that intangible benefit of working with someone one-on-one. So that brought me up to about $40K a month. We were crushing it, man. We were signing up people. I was like, dude, we're on the fast track to $100K a month. We're about to get rich, son. And sure enough, good old COVID gave me the right hook, right? And I've been serving gym owners. So as you can only imagine, I lost about 50% of my business very quickly. I had to pivot, I had to make some moves. And that's where a little bit before COVID hit, actually, Hormozi hit me up and he's like, hey man, might have something for you. And at that point in time, Hormozi wasn't big unless you're in the gym world, right? He wasn't doing what he's doing now. So I'm like, interesting. Yeah, definitely. Let's chat. Hopped on with him. And this is when he started Alan, right? He started training other agency owners on this new business model called pay per show, right? And his software, Alan, was like an AI software that would get people to show up. So sold me on that. Take my 10 grand to get started. Easy decision. Well, it was easy, but it still took me a few days to think about it, right? I mean, let's be real. That's still a lot of money, 10 G's. So got on board with Hormozi, man. And during that time, that was all like right before COVID hit. So I was a little bit prepared to shift our gym owners online. Side point, you got to be ready to pivot. And sure enough, he taught me this business model of pay per show, charging people $4K up front so you get some cash flow so you can afford paid ads. And then after that, it was 100% pay per show. So gym owners would pay $49 to $59 every time we would get someone to show up, right? So it was a super cool business model. Once again, differentiation absolutely saved our business during that time. It increased the performance of our ads that we were showing to gym owners to acquire clients because no one was talking about pay per show at that time. The retainer model was pretty standard, but pay per show, like, oh, that's kind of new. That's kind of sexy. That's kind of cool. So that allowed us to get a bunch of booked calls. I had a closer. He was closing successfully and things started turning around for us, especially during COVID. It really saved the day. And I just put this one here because just to toot my horn, Hormozi would give me feedback on my ads and he'd be like, man, that's a good ad, right? So, I'm cool because Hormozi said so. But anyway, so that was a great time of mentorship. Once again, just to really stress the fact of if you want to go somewhere, don't waste your time trying to just do it all yourself. Like the YouTube stuff is great. Trying to figure it all out is great. But if you're stuck, freaking fork out the dough, get a credit card, find someone that's been there. So here's some of my tax returns, right? It's not millions of dollars. There's plenty of people that have made way more money than I have in this business model. All right. But one thing I do pride myself on is one, being transparent and honest, and also having freedom. Like, I've always been able to build freedom into my business model where I can have time. I can take days off. I can take vacations with my family and not be so dang stressed trying to scale to the moon and sacrifice everything, right? So I ran the paper show model for about a year, but just like anything, there's cons, there's pros to it. The cons were the paper show model was getting expensive. I had to pay Alan $1,000 for every client I signed up. So it was eating into my profits. And I had to pay them, $20 per show every time we got someone to show up. It started becoming an adversarial relationship with our clients because they would start complaining about, oh, this person didn't show up. They were a bad quality show. And it just psychologically got in their head that every time someone showed up, they would just be so anxious about it that it was no longer an enjoyable business model. So we decided to shut it down and kind of go back to retainer stuff. But at some point, I just became burnt out. I was tired of the churn and burn dynamic of constantly having to get new clients, using crazy guarantees to get clients, bringing in bad clients that are constantly complaining, making you feel like you're an employee, disrespecting you. And I was just tired of the whole dynamic. And I've been doing it for a while now, and something needed to change, right? So I remember for me just praying, like, God, like, show me what's the next thing? Like, where do I need to go, right? Where's the direction that I need to take my business so that I don't feel this way? Because this isn't working. This isn't working right now. And at this point in time, to add on top of all the stress, I got COVID and had that long COVID, bro. I was down for like 3 months. It was terrible. My business was suffering. And finally, though, there's always hope. And even if you suffer for a while, there's always hope. And I found this YouTube video, and from this guy, Sam Carlson, founder of UpHex. It was around December. And I remember that night just watching this YouTube video and just feeling the grace on it. Like, yes, this is what I need to do. I need to go all in on SAS, right? SAS is the path forward because of all the reasons you may hear today, right? Like, it's less stressful clients. If they're paying you $497 a month instead of $1,500 a month, they're not going to be stressed out themselves. They're going to have more profit, and they can run DIY ads. So that was the model I went all in on for about a year and a half, was DIY ads. So to gym owners, hey, run your own ads in 3 clicks. Boom. We have all of these done for you templates, proven ads we've accumulated. All you got to do is click a few buttons, and then the software will run your ads for you. And it's only $497 a month, right? We had a little setup fee in the beginning, and it was awesome, man. It was awesome. It was exactly what I needed in that season. And that's another big point that I like to encourage entrepreneurs is you got to know what season you're in. You got to know what season of life you're in. Like, business is not an isolated event. It should always be considered in the context of your life and the season of life you're in. And at that point in time, man, I was burnt out. I didn't want to work as much. I wanted to spend more time with the family, and found a way to make it happen. I'm proud of this as well. Was able to win the good old SAS Award, which is having 100 SAS enabled sub accounts. So we went all in on this for a year and a half, and we have an RV. We love to RV, and we literally took 6 months off. I worked maybe 4 hours a week, to be honest. And this wasn't a building mode, so don't get me wrong. It's not like I was making millions. I was still bringing in $10K a month profit for the most part. Something, maybe a couple months were around $8K profit after taxes. But we wanted to move from Austin. We wanted to come back to California. Okay. So, we didn't know we wanted to go back to California. We just wanted to go travel. We hopped in a fifth wheel. We're like, we'll see where we end up, but we know we don't want to live in Austin anymore. We were there for 3 years, and the allergies were just terrible. That was the main thing. But anyway, we visited all kinds of national parks, Yellowstone. It was a beautiful time for the most part. Obviously, being in a tight space with your whole family can be stressful. So let's be real. It was stressful and beautiful all at the same time. So we did that for 6 months, landed here back in Northern California, which I absolutely love. So in 2023, a new season came upon us where I was excited to build again, and the energy was there. The grace was there. So I started moving back into a retainer type of model because with SaaS, the con is that you don't have high front end cash collected, right? You don't have the bigger retainer packages. So it's kind of a slow and steady grind. And I found, to be honest, doing SaaS the way I was doing it, I was doing the same amount of work for less pay, right? So I realized I still had a lot of high churn as well, because DIY ads, although it's super cool and I love it and a lot of clients love it, the majority of them it didn't work for them because they still didn't manage their own ads properly. They still didn't understand the context of running ads, how to convert. So there was all these other aspects that they didn't do, but nevertheless, we still got the blame. And it was super hard to reframe their mindset of like, hey, we're not an agency, man. This is a software. Like, you're supposed to know how to do all that selling and closing yourself. You're supposed to know how to do all that follow-up yourself. So therefore, that was the problem. I still believe in SaaS, but more so, we moved back to a higher front-end offer where we're able to get $3,500 upfront, right? So we're optimizing for high-ticket retainers so that we can reinvest in the business, afford to grow, spend more on ads, all that good stuff. And, it worked. In November 2023. We hit, 44. The month before that was 39K. Cash collected. But once again, I was going back to money back guarantees, which is kind of stressful because the only reason people do business with you, since they don't trust you yet, they only trust the money back guarantee. Therefore, they're like super ready to pull the plug. 2 weeks in, pull the plug. If they didn't get a lead or a patient, they're ready to just cancel at the drop of a dime, right? So it brought in a lot of bad clients that had bad expectations. We also had a closer and a setter, right? We went all in on this type of model. And although it's cool and we might go back to it one day, the way we were doing it, the way we're acquiring clients, it was stressful and it kills profit. Having to do call reviews, game tape reviews every day. I tried hiring, 2 closers, and that's my own fault. It's not that the closer model doesn't work. It's just the people that I hired were terrible. They weren't terrible people, but they just didn't have the skills to close, right? So it's very high stress. You're having to pinch your margins, make sure your marketing is on point, make sure you're generating, I'm spending $8,000, $10,000 a month on ads, right? So talk about profit killing. Okay. So it was pretty stressful, which led me to some come to Jesus moments, right? Come to some moments where I had to reevaluate what I'm doing, what I'm building, what am I here for? What are my values? And honestly, that's the cool thing about hard times. They force you to look at your life, to reevaluate, to reflect, to dig deep and find out what's missing. Okay. For me, that was realizing, okay, I'm outside of my core values. Okay. My value is freedom, and I'm all of my time is on team meetings. All of my time is on making new ads. All of my time is investing into growing the business, and I'm not getting the reward that's worth it. My profit margins aren't there. So I had to get clear on my values. And these are the real foundational values that I have today that guide me in my decision making. I encourage you to come up with your own values as well. Make it clear so that you know how to make decisions and to make sure, once again, you build a business that you actually love and you actually enjoy, and you're not stressed out and you find yourself hating the thing you built. Okay. So one of the things is really intuition over guru, right? You find there's a lot of advice out there. A lot of it's good. Ultimately, for me, intuition, taking it a step further, is trusting the Spirit of God to lead me. That's His promise. He said, I will lead you into all truth, right? So learning how to trust your gut feelings. And to me, intuition is how God speaks to us. All right. So trusting that has never led me astray. Being able to trust that over what people are saying is a huge core value. Next value here is grace over grind. That doesn't mean you don't work hard. It just means you follow grace. And one of my favorite scriptures is follow the unforced rhythms of grace. I believe that's in Matthew, but that's one of the translations, the unforced rhythms of grace. And there's always grace for a season. You got to know what season you're in. You got to know what season you're in and where the grace is. And you focus on that with all of your energy, or else you're just wasting energy trying to grind, trying to force things. Like brute force can only get you so far. So I know that from experience because there's a lot of times in my business where I'm just grinding, trying to make it work instead of listening, slowing down, because oftentimes you need to slow down in order to speed up. The other thing is business should be fun. You should follow the excitement. Like what is exciting you in your business, right? What activities in your business should you be doing? What activities shouldn't you be doing? Is this the business model that you want to run? Right? All those questions should be evaluated, and not that every day is going to be freaking rainbows and sunshine. Like business is hard for sure. But at the same time, man, there should be an element of fun. I mean, I look at Richard Branson, right? Virgin Atlantic. That dude is one of my favorite entrepreneurs because he's always having fun. And business should be fun, but that also means life should be fun. You should have recreational activities in your life. Okay. Because once again, I look at business in the context of life. And oftentimes entrepreneurs only focus on business. They don't focus on any aspect of their life. I mean, just think about it. When you go and have fun, you go ride jet skis, you go shooting, you go and play some golf. Like, do you come back refreshed or do you come out burnt? Do you come back more creative, more full of energy, right? But why do we neglect that? So fun is a big core value that I was neglecting that I recently started playing more golf. That's a big one. Profit over revenue. Once again, there's so many agency owners out there crushing it in revenue, right? 100, 200K a month, yet their margins are nothing because everything is going to pay the team. They're spending everything on paid ads. And once again, profit feeds the family. So loving our clients, that was a big shift for me. Instead of focusing all of my energy on how do I get more clients, I started focusing on how do I keep my clients? How do I make sure my service, my product is so damn good that I don't feel guilty anymore, that I'm actually doing a good job for our clients. And I started focusing on that, right? Like, how do I make ads? So one of those practical things is I started creating video ads on behalf of my clients. I would record them, I'd edit them. I'd think about their automations, how to get their prospects to show up more, right? So I started thinking along those lines, expending a lot of my energy on how do I get them better results? How do I increase their experience, right? And sure enough, that reflected in more referrals. Would you know it, right? If you do a good job, they're going to tell other people. So those are the agency values. That's what we can build upon, right? And now I want to really dive into the frameworks, how to build a peaceful agency, right? There's no perfect business model. As you can see, I've used a lot of different business models, SaaS on the front end, services, SWAS, standard SMMA, whatever you want to call it, right? It's really not that important. It becomes semantics at some point. What matters is you just choose a model. What's right for you in the season of life you're in, what makes sense with your values, what are you optimizing for? But this is really the framework I've come up with for me in my season, and that's what's helping me profit at least 10, 15K a month. And that's more importantly, allowing us to grow in a way that's peaceful, that's fun, that's not stressful, that gets our clients results and everybody's happy, right? So one is really having a paid ads plus organic ecosystem. And this allows us to not rely on guarantees. I don't use crazy guarantees anymore. I'm done with that nonsense because all that is like a band-aid to a lack of trust. And if you don't have trust with your audience, then you have to rely on crazy guarantees. So you can't just rely on organic either because it's super slow. But you can use organic content, and run paid ads to that organic content that's delivering value to your prospects that builds likability, that builds trust, and allows them to get to know you a little bit, right? So that's number one. That's the importance of having a paid ads ecosystem, so you can have consistent flow of new clients. 3 to 5 is really all you need. If you have good churn, literally 3 to 5 clients, that's what we're optimizing for right now because we charge $2,500 a month, is literally all we need to continue growing and maintain our client base, right? So easy to sell offer. That is huge, right? Something that you can sell without having to be super salesy. I mean, that's why I don't sell SEO because it's not an easy sell. I mean, you got 12 months, you got to delay gratification for 12 months. It's not the easiest offer to sell, but there's many combinations you can go with a high level agency here, right? You can focus on SaaS, AI website chatbots, right? That's a really easy one to sell because it sells itself. Obviously paid ads, more patience, right? Through paid ads. That's an easy to sell offer when it's combined with AI to help nurture the leads. There's always ways to craft a solid offer. Once again, is you just have to choose one. You got to choose one and stick with it for 90 days. We like to do reactivation campaign right now. That's the first thing we do along with paid ads, Facebook and Instagram, along with AI to help nurture those leads. And then for us, we also do a call center, which I don't recommend for beginners, right? Because it's a lot of management, but that's what we're doing. And that's what allows it to be an easy to sell offer. All right. And then number 3 is really having a productize fulfillment with one niche. Now, when you're starting out, and I have other videos on this, when you're first starting out, I don't really believe you need a niche. I think you need to find where you gravitate towards, experiment, find within your warm network who you can get results for, but make sure that when you're scaling, that's a different phase of business, right? When you're scaling, when you want to start bringing on 5 clients a month, then it needs to be productized. You can't have all these different niches because then you have all these different high level snapshots. You're going to have to tweak these automations, the text messages that are getting sent out. But when you have one niche, you have one snapshot within high level that is reused, rinse and repeat over and over again. And that just makes scaling easy, where you can use tools like Upex. You have all the same ads that you can launch for your clients. And it's just streamlined, right? Systems. And that's really what allows you to have freedom, where you can have, your client success manager manage the system. Right? And that leads me to number 4 of having a lean team. Because once again, you can't do all of this on your own. You can get up to 10K a month on your own if you're doing everything yourself, but you're gonna be burnt out at some point, and you're not gonna have the freedom that you desire. So having a lean team allows you to have freedom, where you're building a business that doesn't rely on you. Now you have an asset that can run without you. Like, that is literally like the best feeling in the world. It's amazing. I love it. And then lastly, not ignoring personal growth. Like I've said this over and over throughout the video, but building your life and building your business go hand in hand. Are you neglecting your health? Are you neglecting your fitness? Are you neglecting your recreational activities? Are you neglecting your relationship with your spouse, your children? All of those things should be taken into consideration. And that's the beauty of working with a coach, because they can help identify those things for you, help give you perspective, help encourage you to have a more holistic approach to success. And that is what allows you to have an enjoyable life, a peaceful life. And once again, I say peaceful. That doesn't mean you don't have stress. It just means the overall theme of your life is more peaceful than not, right? And that only happens through identifying the areas in your personal life that you need to grow. Tony Robbins says 80% of success is psychology, the way you think. Scripture lines up with that. Renew your mind. Don't be conformed to the patterns of this world, right? You can gain the world and lose your soul. Like, that's the worst feeling, right? So taking into account the mindset, the way you're thinking, constantly upgrading, reading books. All right, so let's dive into a little more detail of exactly what I'm doing right now. Averaging 30K a month. I think we're due like 35 this month. I don't have a closer right now. I'm doing the sales myself because I've been able to slow it down and only take on, 10 calls a month and close half of them, right? And I'm also, referrals are a lot higher right now, which is a good sign, right? You don't want to have to rely purely on paid ads. Okay, but anyway, this is my paid ads content ecosystem. It's pretty straightforward. I run an ad, short 60-second ad, calling out my audience. All right. Hey, a dentist, orthodontist. Are you looking to get 6 to 12 new high value patients, all without relying on paid ads? I'm using and leveraging AI. All right. So I'm definitely using the whole AI angle here. And then I lead them to a VSL. Okay. This has been a game changer for me, because I don't want to get on a freaking hour-long call. I've done so many hours of one-on-one calls throughout my career, through my gym, and I'm just over that, right? So I'm all about leverage, and the VSL is a very leverageable asset where it's going to do the pitch for you. It's going to break down all of their objections. It's going to break down exactly why they failed in the past, the old way of doing things versus the new way. This is why this is going to work. Okay, I know you've been burned in the past, but this is why it's different. And this is why this system is going to work for you. All right, so it has a combination of testimonials, social proof, and that does the majority of the selling. But then also I'm sending them, once they opt in, I'm going to send them links to my YouTube content, right? And you don't need a ton, just make 5 to 7 videos on questions your audience has, and then send them to that via your high level automations. So in my text messages, once they opt in, I'm sending them, hey, check this one out. I think this will help you out. Right? And then with emails, I have quick calls to action. Hey, did you watch the video? Book a quick 20-minute call with me personally, and I'll answer your questions. Pretty straightforward. They watched the video. They've gone through your content. That builds the trust factor, right? So now you're not having to rely purely on guarantees. You can increase the level of trust. And what that's done for me is just shorten my sales calls, where it's just resolving their concerns, right? It's just like a short 20, 30-minute call max, where they've seen your system, they believe it'll work, but they still have those fears. So you want to allay their fears and really help them, coach them to a good decision. Let them know that you're the person to do business with. So that's what's been helping me. That's what's been it. right now bringing on 4 or 5 clients a month, growing our recurring revenue at $2,500 a month. Our churn is pretty good and it's going smooth. So this is what I'm doing now. It may change, but number 2, easy to sell itself offer. I just walked through that pretty much. Leveraging AI. These are some other ads that I run, image ads. You want to test video, image. AI is the hot thing right now. So really leverage that to your benefit. And AI, when you demo that in your VSL, it really sells itself, especially when you talk about speed to lead. Like, hey, this is why you guys have failed. This is why agencies have failed you in the past, because nobody's following up. Imagine having AI within 3 minutes every time when no one at your office is responding to leads and you're missing out. AI is going to qualify them, talk to them, book them for a consultation. All right. So these are some ads that I've been running. As you can see, on this campaign, we've gotten 147 leads, $18 a lead. So it's working. AI is definitely a huge opportunity right now. Business owners already want it. This was taken from Frank Kern's presentation. If you saw the free 5-day AI challenge, I loved it. So I stole it, this picture. And it just really shows the opportunity, because local businesses out there, they want AI software. And if you can stack that with a high ticket reoccurring revenue offer, then you're going to do well, right? 63% of business owners would buy it now if they believed it was for their type of business. And this is referring to AI software. 80% think it would help them, but don't know what to use, right? 20% of the small businesses use AI marketing software. So 20% already use it. This just shows there's a huge opportunity out there for you to take high level, package AI, and really do right by your clients. And there's millions of businesses out there and all these niches and sub niches. There's a place for you to scale, right? Where your skills fit what they need and you're serving them. You feel good about what you're doing, and it's awesome. Lastly, Productize Fulfillment. What we're doing, we've really focused on streamlining our onboarding. We have, checklists, SOPs in place. It's the same repeatable process every time. A gift gets sent right away. A welcome call gets sent right away. Now, can't obviously dive into all that right now, but then we start with setting up their AI chatbot through Google. All their Facebook and Instagram gets connected, and then on their website chatbot. And then we set them up with a reactivation campaign, right? And this is so they get sticky on the software, so that if they ever do stop our high ticket recurring services, they'll be able to keep the software for $197, $297 a month. And that's a really great way to downsell people. All right. And then we lead them to Facebook ads, Instagram ads. That's what we're running. And then we're doing Google ads as well as of recent, but viral video ads are definitely huge. So I record ads like this on their behalf. And then AI lead nurture is helping get those leads scheduled and qualified and followed up with. All right. So that is what I'm doing. My team right now, I got 1 client success manager. I got 1 media buyer. I got 1 VA. All right. And I actually have a call center. So I have 3 people. I don't know why I didn't put that here, but I don't want to distract you with that because that's not for the majority of people. But I do have a call center where we call the leads for our clients. And that's how we charge $2,500 a month. Without that, you can easily charge $1,500 a month with the AI and 3 people. So that's the lean team. This stuff's working, helping with my brother. It's my brother, John. He saw this and he's a gym owner as well, but he wants to build an online business. So he's starting to close deals. Got another guy that is closing deals using this stuff, all just from my free courses, right? So hopefully you found this video helpful. You've gotten some value from it, gotten some nuggets so you can implement into your own high-level agency journey. I do have some different levels of service that I offer. One is my affiliate community. I'm building that out right now, but if you're a beginner, this is usually perfect for you. You can get access to my free courses. And then right now, I am doing one-on-one coaching only. In the future, I will have a community where we do weekly coaching and all that. But right now, I'm focusing on one-on-one coaching because I love it. I love to mentor. I love to coach people. And this is something I know really well, this type of agency business model. So if you are interested in building a life and a business that you love around this peaceful agency framework, then DM me and we can see if it's a good fit, right? I'll put a link to my Facebook. That's where I have all these conversations, whether you're a beginner or you're someone that, has a few clients, but you want to scale to create more freedom in your life with this peaceful agency framework, then just DM me and we'll go from there. Until then, we'll see you in the next video.